gorgeous soul friends, thank you so much for tuning in and allowing me to be a part of your unique earth experience today. My name is Hannah, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the war on consciousness and how there is an obvious agenda to separate the masses from our intuitive co-creative ability. Because it's pretty fucking apparent that there is some sort of agenda or some sort of inner workings within our society that aims to keep people hating themselves, okay? And keep people co-creating from that self-hatred. And whether or not you want to refer to this as the Illuminati or the elites, or even just some sort of impulse within the human spirit, there is clearly some sort of shadow essence that seeks to lead humanity astray from our true nature as conscious, co-creative, powerful beings. You are not your thoughts, all right? Your thoughts are not you, especially your self-deprecating thoughts, especially your insecurities, especially your intrusive thoughts, all right? Those are programs that have been planted into you since you were very young. And sometimes these programs don't just come from our caretakers. Most often they do. I would say that that is probably the most direct form of programming since, you know, we spend so much time with our caregivers and those who raised us. But it's also something that stems out of social media, celebrity culture, all of that, people who influence us on a high level, on a societal level. You know, the people who we look up to, even in the media, are programming us on an unconscious level. So a lot of these beliefs of self-hatred and these beliefs of self-deprecation, they're merely attachments to our pain self, okay? And whether or not you want to visualize this like a physical entity, because that to some people that's how it manifests, and I think that's why people experience demonic activity and bouts of like lower astral entity experiences, because a lot of the times they're resonating from a frequency of pain, and that pain makes them a magnet for these lower frequencies. But at the end of the day, all is one, okay? So even these entities, even these external beings that one may perceive of in these states of trauma and in these low states of life, these beings that often feed upon our suffering and they feed upon our insecurity, those are just your pain and insecurity manifested into an external being. All right. And oftentimes we find this being the case when we attract narcissistic people into our lives as well. Those people are physical manifestations of our pain coming back to kind of show us, you know, they're really there to show us where our pain still lies and what we need to work on within ourselves, because everything is mind, all is mind, everything is connected. Ultimately, your external reality is just a reflection of your internal state of being. On top of that, we have the programming from the mass media, you know, TV programs and channels that are really just aiming to either sell you a product or push a certain idea. We also have the idolization of questionable celebrities, politicians, and religious figures. The point is that the war on the freedom of mind runs rampant in our world, and it's present everywhere, no matter what walk of life you come from. So I personally recommend taking social media breaks to refine your manifestation ability. Like if you're having a hard time focusing and you're having a hard time regulating, maybe consider taking a social media break. You know, I'm taking one right now. I don't know if you guys saw my community post, a couple weeks back, but I've been on a social media break for the past couple of weeks and it's been incredibly peaceful. I will say it's been very nice. I'll be back on soon. You know, I like connecting with you guys on there, on Twitter especially. Even just taking breaks from screens in general, you know, flushing out all of that social programming, even just for like a night or a week, or however long resonates with you. And during this time of flushing, I'm gonna call it flushing because that's what I like to see it as. During this time of flushing all of that social programming, whenever you take a break from screens or you take a break from social media, you can replace those activities of screen time with reading a book or drawing a picture or practicing an instrument or playing a sport, or things that you enjoyed doing as a kid. Kids are highly attuned to their creative nature, and this includes manifestation. In fact, I've actually had clients who have told me that their kids are better at manifesting than they are, and that they'll see, they're teaching their kids manifestation, and that their kids can get things more easily than they can, because kids lack that resistance that comes from our social programming. So if you're struggling with finding a passion, if you're struggling with knowing what you want in life, because I think that's something that really hinders people in the manifestation world as well, is, they operate from this belief of like, I don't know what I want. I've never really been given the freedom to decide what I want. So now that I have that, I don't know even where to begin, And I think in those moments, it's a good idea to reflect upon the activities and the hobbies that you enjoyed doing as a kid, and maybe starting there, because oftentimes our passions are programmed into us too. We program our passions into us before birth. That's something that we carry with us through the incarnations, our passions and our joys and the things that we find fulfillment in doing. There's a reason why you enjoy doing certain things. Oftentimes it's because you did those things in a past life and you were probably very good at that. And you carried that passion over into this incarnation. I had to go get my notebook because Neville Goddard has a quote that I was so enlightened by, and I think a lot of you may find value in this quote as well. He says, "I may not remember my sowing and deny the harvest that is mine." Oftentimes these programs are so deeply rooted within us. A lot of the external programming that happens from our caretakers and from the media and from society, the resistance that's created is so subtle. So he says, I may not remember the sowing and deny the harvest that is mine. People often say like, well, I didn't create this negative experience. I didn't want this bad thing to happen to me, so how could I have created it? Nobody wants bad things to happen to them. Nobody wants to suffer consciously. But I do think that with these programs that have been implanted into us since we were very young, since we came out of the womb, pretty much, with those programs, we forget about the sowing. When you're online and you're scrolling through social media and you see things that trigger you, you see things that make you feel jealousy, or they make you feel insecurity, or they just make you feel any kind of negative emotion, all of that is planting a seed. Every reaction and response that you have is planting a seed. And he goes on to say in the quote, "While on the morning's paper, as you read these horrible stories, will tell you when you planted it. You do not know the character spoken of in the paper, yet you react, and that reaction was planting a seed." Going back to what I was saying earlier, when you're on social media and you're scrolling through your feed and you're stumbling upon things, maybe like an ex's post, maybe they're with somebody new, or, something like that. There's just something that you see that's really triggering. Maybe there's somebody from your high school or whatever who just bought a house and maybe you're struggling to pay your bills or whatever. Like it could be anything. It could be anything in the world, but at the end of the day, when you're going through your feed and when you're engaging online, there's so much stimuli that is just being shoved at you all the time. And all of the reactions and the emotional responses that you have to that stimuli plant seeds. And those seeds grow and they create your experience. They contribute to creating your experience. That's why the mental diet is so important, and like taking conscious initiative to detox. If you're having a hard time figuring out what it is that you're passionate about, if you're having a hard time figuring out what you want to do with your life, what career path you should choose, what kind of partner you want, or what qualities you want in a person, what qualities would make you feel fulfilled, what parts of yourself make you feel fulfilled, you can also refer to your astrological natal chart. And astrology gets a lot of hate in the manifestation world. Like, a lot of people demonize divination in all forms, which I do resonate with the idea that astrology isn't there to dictate your life, because astrology was never meant to do that to begin with. It was meant to be a tool to help you better co-create your experience. It's meant to be a map so that you can use that map to figure out what will make you most fulfilled and then co-create from that place of knowing. So by tuning into your inner child and by getting to know yourself, you become a soldier in this war on consciousness, and you become a soldier of God, a soldier of the light. Whatever label you want to use. Okay, I know some people get really triggered by the word God, but I use it in reference to the life force essence that flows throughout all beings, not necessarily in reference to any kind of masculine archetype that lives in the sky. I am never referring to the Abrahamic perception of God, all right? I'm referring to the life force essence, the intelligence that flows throughout all life. So through tapping into your inner child and through getting creative and through allowing yourself the freedom to understand who you are, you become a soldier of the light. And you turn yourself into a powerful catalyst or a vortex. And I think this is kind of what people are referring to in the manifestation world when they talk about the vortex state. A lot of people typically associate the vortex state with meditation, but I think that the vortex state can come out of creative play. When you engage in these activities that are stimulating for the creative centers and soothing for the nervous system, you become a very powerful catalyst for creation in your life. We're blasted with so much stimuli on a daily basis. Even being on a social media break and even not using social media, if you're in the Western world, you're getting blasted with stimuli and things that are upping your cortisol all the damn time. And it's designed to suck us out of our lives and pull us into a digital world where we're just stuck on a loop of doom scrolling. Okay, and I specifically mean this for the generation who was raised with phones. I think that they are much more susceptible. You guys are much more susceptible to this programming, to getting sucked into this digital world and finding yourself on an endless loop of doom scrolling. And then lo and behold, 30 minutes have passed, an hour has passed, 2 hours have passed. And what could you have done with that time? You could have journaled, you could have scripted, you could have done affirmations, you could have painted, you could have done something that you enjoyed, you could have sang, you could have danced, you could have cooked, you could do literally anything with your time. That's the thing, is we all have the same 24 hours. What are you spending your 24 hours doing? When you're not sleeping, of course, because it would be impossible, right? We need sleep. The more you flex that creative muscle, the better you will get at consciously designing experiences in your life. Your creativity paired with your shameless and unwavering sense of knowing is the formula for designing your life. And you create that shameless, unwavering sense of knowing with repetition of affirmations. Affirming things to yourself and solidifying things to yourself so that they become so impressed that nobody can shake you. Nothing anybody can say, nothing anybody can do will shake that unwavering sense of knowing. And that makes you a very powerful force to be reckoned with. That alone, your creativity and your unwavering sense of knowing is the formula. It is the key. If you're having a hard time with your creativity, then consciously set aside time to create. If you're having a hard time maintaining a consistent state of knowing, then consciously set aside time for repetition. That's it. Manifestation is so fucking easy, guys. It's just that. It is that simple, all right? And sometimes that state of repetition can come through subliminal tapes at night or affirmation tapes at night. You all know I upload 8-hour subliminal tapes on my channel for you guys to listen to so that you can impress a lot of these new beliefs upon yourself and replace the self-deprecating and self-sabotaging beliefs that have been creating chaos and negativity in your life since God knows how long. When you get into a routine of doing that, you will notice your life begin to flourish in ways that you couldn't have even dreamed of, okay? And I'm speaking from experience. The better that you get at refining those muscles, you will become a proficient co-creator in your life. And you will see it over and over and over and over again. And it almost comes to a point where you just stop worrying about anything. You stop being stressed, you stop being concerned about everything. You may have certain things that come up, you may have certain triggers and things that come up, but they will be less effective on you. You'll be better able to manage them, and you'll be better able to kind of work through them because you're solidified within those new beliefs. So with enough persistence and dedication, you will find that manifestation gets easier and easier and easier as time goes on. And that's why you have so many manifestation coaches that talk about persistence. Persistence is key. If you keep up with it, it's like working a muscle. It's like developing a skill of any kind. You're gonna get better and better and better, and it's gonna become more intuitive and natural, and it's just gonna become bodily memory at that point. And then it's just gonna become, it gets to a point where you just kind of have this awareness of when things show up in your life, when undesirable circumstances show up in your life, or things that are not in alignment with what your beliefs are wanting to bring about, you can easily ignore them and easily just move through that state until they clear. But again, manifestation is easy, guys. A lot of the resistance and a lot of the hardship comes from these programs that have been implanted into us, and we're just having to kind of deprogram them. That's all manifestation is. It's just a consistent state of deprogramming. That's all we're doing. We are programming centuries, lifetimes of beliefs and assumptions and experiences that we've gone through collectively, because we're all one. We're all one with one another. So through doing this work, you are literally healing the human consciousness as a whole. You are healing the whole of humanity. And the more people that do this work and the more people that get in touch with themselves and access this co-creative ability, we will see more and more beauty just coming out of society and coming out of the world. A lot of the negativity and a lot of the darkness of the world will begin to fade away, and it'll begin to fall away, as it's doing right now with a lot of the upheaval that's going on. It's because more and more people are tapping into this knowing. And it's a beautiful thing. It's such an honor to be a part of this awakening with you guys. It really, really is. Every single one of you who watches this video, you have a purpose, and that purpose is impacting every single person on the globe. Your co-creative ability and you manifesting and you taking charge of your life is impacting people that you may never even meet in your life. And it's impacting them positively. So you're making a difference. And I'm here to tell you that. I'm here to remind you that even the things that you think are so minuscule are all interconnected. We're all impacting each other, and we're all contributing to the betterment of the world. You are saving the world through this work. And I'm getting emotional right now, so I'm gonna just stop this video before I start crying on camera. But I just want you guys to know that I love you so much, and I really appreciate you taking the time to engage with this content. If you want more personal one-on-one coaching, you can check out my website. I do offer coaching. I offer individual sessions. I offer monthly packages. So check it out, see what works for you. I also make personal subliminal tapes, overnight tapes for people who want to rework their personal beliefs. I also have a book coming out, guys. I am officially a published author. And I have been for quite some time now, but I've just had a little bit of, I've had to put it on the back burner for a few months because I've just been so busy with other things. Some of you may already know it's called the Big Book of Affirmations, and it's just an interactive book that helps people tap into the power of affirmation. So I'll have that coming in soon. I have a copy that's coming in the mail. So once I get it, I'll make some videos with it and I'll showcase the book to you guys. But in the meantime, check it out down in the description box below. Everything will be linked, my website, my book, my coaching, all of that good stuff. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out my other content, guys. I do make videos on manifestation and other aspects of occult science and helping people understand them on an intuitive level, and not only understand them, but apply these teachings in a way that is constructive for yourself and the rest of humanity as a whole. Thank you so much, guys. I love you again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye.